Everyone laughed when he called her Piggy, but no one was laughing by the end of the year. It was the first day of 10th grade at Willow Creek High. The hallway buzzed with excitement, backpacks slung over shoulders, lockers slamming shut, and the occasional shout of friends reuniting after summer. But in the middle of it all stood Emma Carter, curvy, quiet, and trying her best to disappear into the lockers. Emma had always struggled with her weight. Since middle school, she'd heard every nickname in the book. But today, something felt worse. Maybe it was the way she had spent all summer working up the courage to wear her favorite lavender sweater, the one she thought finally made her feel a bit like the other girls. Maybe it was because she believed, just maybe, this year would be different. But then came the voice. "Move it, Piggy. You're blocking the whole hallway." The words echoed louder than the bell that had just rung. Everyone stopped. Heads turned. Laughter started in small ripples, then spread like wildfire. Standing behind her was Ryan Mitchell, the school's golden boy, star quarterback, movie star smile. He had a reputation for being funny, charming, and cruel when it suited him. Emma froze. Her face turned crimson, but she didn't say a word. She clutched her books and walked away as fast as she could, holding back tears until she reached the girls' bathroom, where she let them pour freely. That night, Emma didn't eat dinner. Not because she wanted to lose weight, but because her stomach ached in a way that had nothing to do with food. But here's the thing about Emma, she didn't break. Not really. Something happened inside her that night. Something quiet like a flame catching in the wind. A decision. She wasn't going to cry anymore. She was going to change. But not for them. Not for Ryan. For herself, the next day she went back to school and didn't speak to anyone. She started eating healthier. Not starving, not crash dieting, just making better choices. She signed up for the gym near her house. At first, she couldn't even jog for 2 minutes without gasping for breath. But every day she went back. The gym became her sanctuary. The mirror that once haunted her now became her motivator. Inch by inch, her body changed, but more importantly, her confidence grew. But Emma's transformation wasn't just physical. She signed up for debate club. At first, she barely whispered. But month by month, her voice got stronger. She started volunteering at the library, helping younger kids who struggled with reading. Teachers noticed her. She made a few quiet but loyal friends. Still, Ryan didn't. Not really. To him, she was just a face in the crowd again. Until the end of year school talent show. Emma had never planned to enter, but her best friend Lila, who had stuck by her through every hard day, nudged her toward it. "You've got a voice," Leela said one day, handing her a sign-up sheet. Emma shook her head.
"Not for that." "Yes,"
Leela insisted. "You've been silent too long, let them hear you, let him hear you." And so, Emma signed up. For weeks, she practiced late into the night, rehearsing the spoken-word poem she had written herself. It wasn't about Ryan, not directly. It was about every kid who had ever been laughed at, every person who had ever felt invisible. It was about pain and power, about taking back your voice. The night of the talent show, the auditorium was packed. Students, teachers, parents. Ryan sat in the front row with his football team, arms folded, smirking at each act that wasn't his idea of talent. Then Emma took the stage. She wore a simple black outfit, hair pulled back, no makeup, no showy entrance, just a spotlight and a microphone. And then she spoke. Her voice, calm at first, rose and fell like a tide. The poem started with pain, with the words hurled in hallways, with the lunches eaten in bathroom stalls, with the nights spent staring at ceilings, wondering if tomorrow would be different. But then it shifted. Into fire, into strength, into a declaration that she was no longer anyone's Piggy, that every insult had forged steel in her spine, that they didn't break her, they built her. By the time she finished, the room was silent. Then came the applause. Slow at first, then thunderous. Ryan didn't clap. He sat frozen, jaw clenched. And Emma, she didn't even look at him. She walked off the stage with her head high, heart pounding, not from nerves, but from triumph. The next week, something unexpected happened. Ryan approached her after class. "Hey, about before," he muttered. "In the hallway. That wasn't cool. I was just joking." Emma looked him in the eye for the first time since that day. "You weren't joking," she said calmly. "You were trying to be funny at someone else's expense, and you did make people laugh, but only because they were afraid to be your next target." Ryan didn't know what to say. "And you know what?" Emma added, stepping closer. "You called me Piggy, but I didn't squeal. I rose. You're the one squealing now, because the attention's not on you anymore? She walked away, her voice and stride steady. Ryan didn't follow. That summer, Emma started a YouTube channel. Her first video, that same spoken word poem, it went viral. Messages poured in from teens around the world who said they finally felt seen, heard, inspired. She kept going, more poems, more speeches, more stories. She became the girl who turned pain into power, the one who made the world stop and listen. Years later, Emma stood on another stage, this time at a women's empowerment summit, speaking to thousands. She looked out at the sea of faces and smiled. "Never let anyone write your story for you," she said. "Especially not someone who only knows how to tear pages out." And somewhere back in Willow Creek, in a small house with dusty trophies and fading glory, Ryan Mitchell watched her on TV. No one remembered what he said that day in the hallway. But everyone remembered what she said back. He called her Piggy in front of everyone, and the whole cafeteria roared with laughter. Emma stood frozen, her tray trembling in her hands. The smell of pizza and fries hung in the air, but all she could taste was humiliation. She blinked rapidly, fighting the sting in her eyes. "Not here. Not now. Don't let them see you cry." Ryan Mitchell smirked as if he'd just delivered the punchline of a perfect joke. His football buddies slapped his back, howling. It was so easy for him. A careless insult tossed across the room like a football, landing squarely in the middle of Emma's chest. She turned without a word and left the cafeteria. In the bathroom stall, Emma let the tears fall. But they weren't just tears of sadness, they were angry, hot, heavy. She had tried so hard. She hadn't worn the baggy clothes today. She dared to brush out her curls. She even wore lip gloss. She had told herself this year would be better. But here she was, once again the joke of the day. That night, Emma sat on her bedroom floor, laptop open, typing furiously. She didn't even know what she was writing at first. Just pouring it out. Every insult she'd heard. Every stare. Every time she was told to, just ignore it. She turned it into rhythm. She shaped it into truth. What started as pain became poetry. Her fingers shook as she finished the last line. She saved the document and shut the laptop. Something inside her had shifted. Over the next few months, Emma became quieter in school but louder in the places that mattered. At the gym, she wore headphones and ignored the mirrors. One step at a time, one set, one rep. Her body slowly began to change, yes, but so did her mind. She didn't look for approval anymore. She looked for strength. In class, she raised her hand. In group projects, she took the lead. And when no one noticed, that was fine too. She wasn't doing it for applause. Still, the memory of that moment, Piggy, lingered like a scar. Some days it still burned. But it no longer controlled her. It was Layla who brought up the talent show. Emma had mentioned the poem once, just in passing. Lila hadn't let it go. "You have to share it. No one wants to hear that." "I do. I think a lot of people do." Emma stared at her friend, unsure, but something deep down agreed. She signed up. The night of the show, she wore her pain like armor. Her heart pounded as she waited backstage, clutching the worn-out paper with the poem written in her own handwriting. She could hear the laughter from the audience, the chatter, the rustling programs. But when her name was called and the spotlight hit, all of it faded. Emma stepped up to the mic. Her voice, steady but soft, filled the room. She didn't shout. She didn't perform. She spoke, honestly, deliberately, about the girl who sat alone at lunch, about the cruel nicknames that stuck like glue, about the ache of never being enough for other people's approval. She talked about growing stronger, not just thinner, about finding power in silence, then in